Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. I am flying solo this evening. Unfortunately, Boz has got to work tonight, so he is absent, and Stocky is at football training. But we will all be back on Saturday for Matchday Live. But obviously, as is usual on the Thursday, we'll have a little quick look at what's been going on throughout the week, which, in all honesty, isn't a great deal this week since I saw your last Monday review of the Ipswich game. A performance that was very good, but ultimately went unrewarded. So the main point of tonight's episode will be to have a look ahead to Saturday when we travel to a very in-form Oxford United, fresh off the back of their Carabao Cup exploits last night, defeating Premier League outfit West Ham United by 4-0. Just love it when a team starts running into form when you've booked an away day. But yeah, in terms of what's been going on in the week, not a lot. I think it's probably the worst kept secret around the football club at the moment. But in this week's Medway Messenger, Steve Evans has confirmed that Bradley Garmston isn't in his plans at all. He says in this week's newspaper, he will continue to play in our closed doors games and keep himself match fit. He is a lovely kid, just not what we are looking for. Evans is content with the squad at present, although he is running low on numbers. And he did talk about Garmston and said that there's been a couple of non-league teams have come in, but nothing's actually happened. Slightly disappointed to hear that in terms of for Bradley, because I think he's a decent enough left wing back at this level. As we all know, he had a horrendous luck with injuries after arriving on a permanent deal in the summer of 2015, and now for one reason or another he's just not fancied by the management team, which is a real shame. I don't understand it myself, because he would provide good competition surely for young Tom O'Connor, who is still learning his trade. He's only 18 years old, but we have to trust Steve Evans and Paul Rayner and the coaching staff to do what's best for the football team. And it's quite clear that Mr. Evans and Mr. Rayner believe that Bradley Garmston isn't part of those plans, which is a shame, but we have to move on, and nobody's bigger than the football club and all that. Yeah, and the only other bit of news is Gill's already planning for January transfers. So obviously we've got a few on loan that are only here till January, and Steve Evans has confirmed that we do have options then obviously to either send them back if it's not working out and maybe look at alternatives, or try and extend the loan deals for the rest of the campaign, which at the moment there's probably not any that I would send back, I don't think. But yeah, in terms of the week, it's been very, very quiet. So let's move on to Saturday's big game, and we travel to the Kassam Stadium to take on this lot. As I've already mentioned, Wednesday night, Oxford United at home to West Ham in the Carabao Cup, and I don't think anyone saw that coming. Oxford United 4, West Ham United 0. Now I know West Ham rested a shed load of players, but they still had Premier League quality in their 11, so how much was it them being awful? How much was it Oxford being really, really good? Or was it a bit of a mixture? I guess only way we can really gauge it is when we arrive on Saturday and come 5 o'clock. But yeah, Wednesday's result for them, I suppose you would call it a freak, but then they had a freak result last Saturday as well. So they've scored 10 in their last 2 competitive fixtures. They beat Lincoln to the tune of 6-0 last Saturday at Sincil Bank, ironically in front of their former manager, one of their most successful gaffers of all time in Michael Appleton, who has just taken the Lincoln job. And yeah, they must be doing something right, because if you listen to D3, D4 podcasts with any regularity, you'll know that James tries to remain level-headed, but in terms of Jamie Mackey, he's quite adamant that the bloke doesn't score goals, yet he managed to score at the weekend. So Carl Robinson's either working wonders or Lincoln were just that shocking. In terms of form, we can do last 6 now, and there's quite a lot of similarities. Last 6 in League One, Oxford have 8 points from 18, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Gillingham have 8 points from 18, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Both only lost 1 in 5 in the league. In terms of home form for Oxford, they've played 4. They've won 2, drawn 1, lost 1. scored 9 and conceded 7. So their games seem to be quite open, full of goals. 4 games, you're looking at 16 goals scored, 4 goals a game, so 2 all pretty much on average. In terms of us away from home, yet to win, but 3 draws and the solitary defeat, which came at Coventry. Scored 4, conceded 5. So tight games, not as high scoring as Oxford. So it'll be interesting to see how the game does pan out come Saturday afternoon. In terms of players for them, I had them as relegation fodder when I did my season preview. And then lo and behold, they went and signed some really good players shortly after that. That's the joys of doing season previews when the transfer window is still open. Got Ben Woodburn in on loan from Liverpool. I believe that obviously Carl Robinson being a Scouser has links up there, and I think there's another Oxford loanee who had some sort of part in in getting the deal over the line. They got Matty Taylor in, who was wonderful at this level for Bristol Rovers a couple of seasons ago. Didn't really work out at Bristol City in the Championship, but I know he's been injured for a couple of weeks, but I think he is fit now. So once he's up and running, and fingers crossed he's not flying on Saturday, that'll be, I'm sure, another excellent addition for the Yellows. Tariq Fosu-Henry, fresh off the back of a hat-trick in the league last Saturday against Lincoln. Simon Eastwood's proven to be one of the most consistent shoppers in the division. Again, if you listen to D3, D4 football, James and the people on there rate him pretty highly. But it's not all about Oxford. It's about what we do. It's about how we go and set up. It's about how we go and implement our game plan. It's about how we put our own stamp on proceedings, and it doesn't matter how good your opposition are, they can't hurt you if you keep the ball from them. So if we go there and do everything right, then it should be a very good game, a very entertaining game. I know our record at Oxford is pretty horrendous. I think our last win came in 2010, courtesy of a Cody McDonald strike, and that ended that horrendous run of about 30 or so games without a win on the road. So if you think we've had it bad on the road in recent years, aside from the last 2 seasons, obviously, then go back to that time, and yeah, 30 plus games on the road without a victory. Fun times. In terms of team news, it's only Matty Willock that's unavailable through injury, and obviously Bradley Garmston's not going to be in contention. So I'd make a couple of changes this week, and I would revert to a back 4. It's probably a little bit harsh on one that I'm leaving out. And the other one, again, it's who I've omitted from last week's 11. It's nothing that he did wrong. It's just more the fact that the player we want to get back in has been absolutely brilliant so far this season. So the 2 I'm going to leave out are Jack Tucker and Stuart O'Keefe. I would get Alfie Jones back in there. And this week I'd start Ben Pringle, because I thought he was brilliant when he came on last week at home to Ipswich. I thought he changed the momentum of the game. He consistently got us on the front foot. Like I said on Monday's first touch is brilliant. He's got an eye for a pass, and he's the type of player, along with Ollie Lee, that hopefully can unlock defences when games are tight, and I think this could be a tight game. So my 11 would be Jack Bonham in goal, a back 4 of Barry Fuller, Max Amar, Connor Ogilvie and Thomas O'Connor. And then I've gone for a midfield 4/3. We could probably play 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 diamond with this. So I'd have Alfie Jones, Mark Byrne, Ollie Lee and Ben Pringle. And I'd have Brandon Hanlon and Alex Jakubiak in from the start. So you could have invariably Alfie Jones and Mark Byrne sitting, Ollie Lee in the 10 with Pringle and Hanlon from the sides and Jakubiak down the middle. Or you could stay with the diamond, Alfie from the base, Mark Byrne and Ben Pringle from the sides, Ollie Lee in the 10, and then Brandon Hanlon right up top alongside Alex Jakubiak. My bench would be Joe Walsh, Jack Tucker, Regan Charles Cook, Stuart O'Keefe, Mikael and Jolly, Mikael Mandron and Mark Marshall. I'd like to see him back on the bench. If he's in contention, we've not heard anything, but I assume he would be back now from the Caribbean after what was sadly the loss of his father recently. So yeah, pretty short one tonight from me. Like I say, there was not loads to go through in terms of the week. So the match preview was pretty much taken up all of the vlog. And as always, I'll do a prediction before I go. Like I've said, if we do everything right from whistle to whistle, if we're all at it, if we're all knowing our roles and all knowing our jobs and carrying them out to not perfection, but something near that, then I think we've got a great chance of getting a positive result. I think if we replicate what we did against Ipswich last week, no disrespect, I don't think Oxford is as good as Ipswich, not a patch, but they're clearly in form. They've not conceded in 4. I think if we allow them to score the first goal, it could be a tricky afternoon because they are free scoring at the moment. They're going to be flying in terms of confidence. But if we can nullify the home fans, maybe pinch the first goal, then I'm going to be positive and back us to win 2-1. Goal scorers for me will be Ben Pringle and Alex Jakubiak to get back on the goal trail. I'm sure plenty of Oxford fans disagree wholeheartedly, and that's absolutely fine. We all have our own opinions and we all tend to be slightly biased towards our own football team. That's enough from me this evening. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me. Like I say, all three of us will be back Saturday. We are travelling to Oxford for a match day live, which will be our second away. Excuse me, second away day of the season. So let's hope that it'll be a positive one, a good performance and a positive result. As always, you know where we are. Down below on YouTube, let us know what you think of the video. Let us know your score predictions on Twitter and Facebook, who you'd have in your 11. And go and check out all photos from games and just general Gillingham stuff on our Instagram page. Right, that's enough from me. We will see you Saturday. Hopefully we'll be able to meet up with Glenn and Owen, who I know are both travelling to the game. Although Owen does say that quite a lot and then changes his mind. So, yeah, it'd be good to see them both and get them on the match day vlog. And until next time, up the Gills.